Good morning, everybody, once again, and welcome welcome to the European Prize for Women Innovators 2026 edition info session. Thank you so much for joining us today and also for your interest in the competition. My name is Ciro Matas. I work as a public affairs officer at the EIT. I'm also co-coordinator for the EIT Women Leadership Award category. And today we're going to spend roughly 1 hour together, where we're going to have a look at the different aspects, general aspects of the competition, including the prize categories, as well as which are the conditions to participate, who can participate, who cannot. We're also going to look on how to apply and how the application is going to be evaluated and assessed. And we're also going to be looking at some tips and tricks by our special guests who are going to share their testimonials with us. And in this sense, I would like to warmly welcome our speakers today. We have today with us Deborah Campos, who is the CEO and founder of AgroGreenTech, who is also the winner of the last year's edition of the EIT Women Leadership category. We also have with us Elena Puglia, who is the founder of Data Natives, as well as the managing director of Data Economy and Media, and she was a jury member on this last edition of the competition. And also with us, of course, Elodie Thirion, who is the project advisor at ISMEA. She's my colleague, coordinator of the Rising Innovators category and the Women Innovators category. That being said, I would like to start with Elodie, who is going to introduce us to the basics of the competition and as well the different eligibility criteria that you need to meet for participating. Thank you so much, Elodie. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. So I will start briefly by introducing the prize. This prize is an individual recognition of your achievement and impact. It's not about funding a project. It's really about recognizing achievements by women that are behind innovation that they are creating. The competition is open to all applicants from EU member states and countries associated to Horizon Europe. And it really rewards personal achievement with 3 different categories. So let's have a quick look at these categories. So as mentioned by Ciro before, there are 2 categories managed by EIC. So the EIC Women Innovators category and the EIC Rising Innovators category, and a 3rd category that is EIT Women Leadership category. Each category has 3 winners. So that means a total of 9 winners for these awards. The important thing to keep in mind is that you can apply to only one of these 3 categories. So they are specific eligibility criteria for each of the category. But the competition timeline of the 3 categories is exactly the same. So here is how it looks. So the deadline for the call is now open, and the deadline for application is 25th of September. We always recommend not to wait until the last moment to apply, because you might face technical issue. And even though we give that advice every year, we see a peak in application in the last days. So really, please try to follow this advice and not to wait for the last day to apply. Once the call is closed, there will be a period to evaluate the application. So by external jury members, you will hear more about that with Elena later on. And the communication of the results will be early next year, with the award ceremony taking place in the 1st or 2nd quarter of 2026. So what you need to know before you apply. So there are 3 sets of criteria. So the admissibility criteria is about how your application is complete or not. The eligibility criteria is the criteria for participation, and exclusion criteria that are conditions that have to be fulfilled for all participants receiving EU funding. So the admissibility criteria, the main admissibility criteria is that your submission has to be done through the funding and tenders portal within the deadline, and to respect the formal criteria. So meaning you need to have your part A and B respecting the formal criteria, and the 90 seconds video and supporting documents depending on the category you're applying to. In addition to this admissibility criteria, there are eligibility criteria. So those are criteria that you have to fulfill in order for your application to be evaluated by the jury members. The first and most important eligibility criteria is to be a woman. And it's not only to be a woman, it's to apply as a woman. And we have seen in the past that some applications were done using the name of the company. And this is absolutely to be avoided. Your application has to be made in your name as a natural person, because this award recognizes you as a woman, as a person, and your achievements, so including your company, but not only. To apply to this year edition, you also need to be founder of or co-founder of a company, and the company has to be registered before 1st January 2023. This company has to be established in an EU member state or Horizon Europe associated country, and you also have to be a resident in an EU member state or Horizon Europe associated country. And last but not least, you should not have received another EU prize for the same activity. But this concerns only an EU prize, so it's not an EU grant. If your project has been funded by a grant, this exclusion does not apply to you. Then there are specific eligibility criteria for each category. So the main category does not have specific eligibility criteria, but for EIC Rising Innovators category, it is for women under 35. So you need to be born after 1st January 1990. And for the EIT Women Leadership category, you need to have a link with the EIT community. So it means that you need to have benefited or will benefit from EIT support, understood in a very broad way. If you have any doubts about any of these eligibility criteria, please do not hesitate to contact us, and we will be happy to give you guidance as much as we can. With that, I give the floor back to Ciro for the rest of the evaluation procedure.
Thank you so much, Elodie. Let me come back to the presentation. Now we're going to deep dive in the evaluation and application procedure, and you will see why what Elodie said a second ago is so important. So, one second. There you go. Okay, I almost skipped it. So evaluation procedure, basically what's going to happen when you submit your application after the application deadline, the application is going to be assessed by a committee which is going to look into the admissibility, eligibility, and exclusion criteria. So how and to what extent or whether you are meeting or not all of these criteria in your application. So this is the very, very first filter. If your application does not meet the eligibility criteria or any of the criteria, admissibility or exclusion, it will not reach the jury members. That being said, hopefully, of course, you can all pass this filter, and once the committee has verified that you are complying with all of these criteria, what is going to happen is that it's going to go your application to the jury panel. The jury panel is composed by 3 independent experts, and they will assess your application against the award criteria this time. Or it could happen an intermediate step, but this depends on whether there's more or less than 500 applications. So if there's more than 500 applications to each of the price categories, then it would go through an intermediate step where there is a pre-selection of the 500 best ones that will go after to the jury panel. And on what basis is the jury panel going to assess your application? So there's 3 award criteria: breakthrough innovation, impact, and inspiration. So the breakthrough innovation criteria is going to look on to which extent your innovation is disruptive and breakthrough. The impact criterion is going to look on whether the innovation is addressing a real need and drives positive change in society. And the third one is the inspiration criteria, which refers to whether you are an inspiring role model, a leader, and also someone that has been pivotal to the success of the company. With regards to these 3 award criteria, so how is it scored? Each of the award criteria, you can get, so in each of them, you can get from 0 to 10 points, being the maximum of points you can get overall in your application, 30. But in each of these criteria, you also need to pass a minimum score of 6. So there is a minimum threshold of overall 18 points. And obviously, so the applications who get the best scores are the ones who are awarded the prize. Having looked at the evaluation procedure and all these other different criterion, let's have a look on how to apply. So the rule of 3 here, I would say the 3 main steps that we strongly encourage you to take are, first of all, of course, reading the rules of the contest. So all the information that we are sharing with you now is basically stated in this document, which is the one that structures the competition. No? So it's where all the conditions are laid on how to participate and how your application should be assessed. And this is the document that we're going to follow throughout the whole competition evaluation. The second one is creating an EU login user if you don't have one. So EU login is basically a authentication system from the European Commission. It allows you to access different tools of the Commission, including, of course, the ones that are related to the submission of your applications. If you don't have one, whenever you try to access, for example, now we're going to speak a bit about this, the participant register or the funding and tendering portal to start your application, you're going to be given the option of creating an EU login account if you don't have one. And once you have this EU login account, you should get a participant identification code or PIC number. But very, very, very important, it needs to be a participant identification code for a natural person. If just in case you're not familiar, so the PIC number is a number that is used to identify you when applying to EU opportunities or tender procedures. And in this case, because it is a personal recognition prize, you need one for a natural person. It's important to keep in mind because maybe those of you who have applied to EU grants before with your company, you may already have a PIC number, but this PIC number for a company is not valid. You would need to get one for yourself, basically. And the third step would be to, of course, submit the application, which consists of 3 parts. So it's the part A, which is just basically the general information about yourself. The part B, where you're going to state how you are meeting the different award criteria that then the jury members are going to evaluate. And lastly, a 90-second inspirational video that needs to be submitted together with the part B as an annex. So to recap, first, reading the rules of the contest, very important. You can find them in the prize website. I put here the link for you. And yes, I will share afterwards with all of you who register the presentation as well as the recording, so you have it. The second one, and this I would like to extend myself a bit more, is the participant register. I give a screenshot of how the form looks like. I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's just to give you a hint. Because when you register as a participant, you will notice that the form is used for both companies and natural persons. So you will find instances where it asks you, for example, as in the screenshot I'm just showing now, for your legal name or for your registration country or for the VAT number, etc. So the rule of thumb here would be you always need to put your own personal information, so no information about your company. For example, if they ask you the legal name, you put your full name. If they ask you for the country of registration, you put the country where you were born. In the case of like registration numbers or VAT numbers, this would be non-applicable, and you should follow the same principles throughout the whole application form. If you have any doubts, you can check the information button. There is so just for you, let me point here. So this little button, if you click on it, it will tell you what you need to put for a natural person. So I really advise you that if you don't really know what to put, just click on there and you will see a few hints on how to continue putting the information. And lastly, now, of course, it's time to apply. Just follow the link to the different application pages, because there's 3 application pages, one per price category. And once you access this submission page, what you need to do is go down to the part where it says start application. It's a bit hidden, so I just put it's more towards the end of the submission page. And my only advice here would be to double check the name of the category, because sometimes we have the case that people apply to the wrong category because they didn't use the correct submission page. So just double check on the top of the submission page that it is the name of the category that you want to apply. And that being said, if you have any questions, especially with regards to the participant register, we really recommend you to address the Research Inquiry Service. They provide in general information about EU funding and research programs, and they are also in charge of the validation process of the participant register. So if you have some question, or you don't know how to continue with the registration process for getting the PIC, you can reach out to them and they should be able to help you. And last but not least, I would like, of course, to wish you very good luck. And in case you have any questions with regards to the calls, any of the calls, you can reach out to us, to our functional mailbox. They are in this slide. I hope that this presentation gave you already some insights on how to apply and gave you more interest in applying. But if not yet, we are going to have 2 more speakers which are going to share very, very valuable insights on how you can further prepare your application, as well to tell their experience on participating in this competition. And with this, I would actually like to give the floor to Deborah Campos. Again, for those who don't know her, CEO and founder of Agro Green Tech, and she was the winner of the EIT Women Leadership category last year.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. So nice to meet you. And I hope that there are a lot of women here that will apply this year. So I've been following these awards for many, many years. So I've been prepared for many, many years to apply. So I started my company in 2019 officially. And since 2020, I think I started to see that there was this kind of words that validate women entrepreneurs in the market. So I started following all of these and seeing who were the women that were applying and winning these kind of categories and what they were doing to growth in Europe. And I started following that path, what other European women were doing. So one of the things that I started doing, it was how to ensure that a company, an entrepreneur from Portugal, could be aligned with the European companies. So all my path until last year and now, it was how can I take agrogreen tech to the next step and be recognized in European level? So I started applying to different international programs, and actually last year I applied also to the EIT Fund program um, to have a way to accelerate the company. So that was one of the things that I made sure it was how to level up the company, and that will enable me also to level up to other women entrepreneurs. While I was doing the application, the peak number, it was actually an issue because I started the application with the company peak number. And then at the last 3 days, I had to manage everything to create a new account, to create the peak number, and actually it was fast that situation, but it was like a point of stress for me at the end of the application. So as Ciro was saying, the first thing it is to do the peak number and then to have like a smooth application. In terms of the application itself, as I was saying, I was following these applications, so I start working on leveling up myself and the company. And I would say that the two first categories on impact and innovation, because I already had done some applications to EU grant, I was familiarized with the funding and tenders portal. So that was a easy thing. But if you never applied to a funding and tenders project, that could also seems a little bit difficult to understand at the beginning. So go to the page and try to familiarize yourself with that, because sometimes could be we have doubts, and you have to read once and twice and the the document of rules, and that will support you a lot. So I was saying that in the part of impact and the innovation, I already had written some applications of the company, which I use part of that applications to rewrite that part within my application. But then on the leadership leadership part, and also as a woman, as a rule woman, I had to dive in what I have been done. So one of the things that I have seen it was that um, because the application usually is for the company, I didn't have anything written from my past since 2019 until now. So I had to deep dive on my activities, um, on missions that I had done with other women to assess different markets, applications that I had done to different projects and programs, what I had won and achieved throughout this path. And one of the things that I didn't have validated at the time, it was how many girls and women I had impact throughout this path. And then because of this application, I was able of checking all of that. So I already have PhD students, master students that started following my steps. Um, and I impact positively their lives. So one of the things that I needed to see to do this application, it was to look around me and see what kind of impact I was providing in my surroundings. So I was able of seeing that actually there are a lot of scientists, women scientists that were around me, and they are using me as a role model to see that what kind of career and path they want to move forward. So one of the things that it's like a tip that I can give you, it is to look around yourself and see what other women are you impacting positively with your path in your career. Um, and last, another thing it was that sometimes we don't sell ourselves as entrepreneurs and innovators because we are very humble. Don't be humbled. Use what you have achieved and what you have done and show it to the world. And that was what I tried to do with this application. So for me, it was two things. It was to recognize what I had done. And let's say that all the path and the word, it was like the benefit from that path. So I let you with this final idea.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for sharing your testimonial. And I totally agree with you. You should take the opportunity to brag about yourself in the application because it's about you and it's about your achievements. So don't hesitate to remark them in the proposal that you submit to us. If you have any question to Deborah, you can, just a reminder, of course, you have the Q&A section where there's a lot of questions already. If you can add yours there, and we will come back to questions for all the speakers after the last presentation, that I would like to actually now give the floor to Elena Puglia, who was actually a jury member in the last year's edition of the competition, and she's going to share with us some tips and trips, but from the point of view of a jury member. Elena, now the floor is yours.
It was interesting to hear from Deborah's perspective. How did she prepare the application, and us as jury members, how we've seen it, and we basically had to evaluate it. So, as Ciro mentioned, I was a jury member last year for the European Human Innovation Awards, and yeah, I'm really happy to be speaking to you, and to share my my learning so far as evaluator, and especially to people here. I see there's 120 people who are thinking of applying. So I really encourage you to apply, even if you don't I was actually saving that tip to the last, but this is I think I start with it. Imposter syndrome is real, and I think you should apply even if you don't feel ready, and you need to yeah, I'm sure you to be here and to listening to this, you probably have done a lot of things in your career so far. So be bold and go and apply. I think there's also no, correct me if I'm wrong, Ciro, but I think there's no limit of how many times someone actually can apply. So you can always apply again and again next year. So you've heard about the three different award criteria. So breakthrough, innovation, and inspiration. And these are the, let's say, this is how it's important to structure also your application based on those three. But how you feel those three is really how makes the difference. And for us as evaluators, one important thing to consider is that we might not even have expertise in your field. We might not even understand exactly what you've been doing. So explaining to us in a way that is engaging, really point out the breakthrough innovation that you've created, what makes this different, what have you changed in your market category, but do it in a way that it's not oversimplified, but make it clear and easy for anyone to understand what it is. Make sure that you use, the focus of this award is of course deep tech, right, and STEM, and focuses really on STEM-based innovation. So it's important to highlight any scientific or technological foundation your innovation has, but try to do it with an accessible language and make sure that everything is highlighted and detailed in a detailed manner, so we understand exactly how you challenge the status quo and how that has been different. We be razor sharp on the problem you're solving. We need to understand what is the problem that you're solving, and is it a critical industry gap? Is it a societal injustice? Is it an urgent global issue? What is it, and how are you doing it? That's very important, and to be as clear as possible. The second criteria, and we really actually struggled as evaluators this year, was impact. And one important note that I would want to make for any future applicants is that, well, impact it can be considered for so many points of view. It can also be any data or testimonials that you have, any LOIs that you have, any sort of publicity or publication, any patterns that they're out there that they can also be connected to your impact. But specifically, what we've noticed and what we've really I wanted to highlight for any future applicants is that the impact that we're looking is also the impact that you're doing now. So explain to us how how exactly what you're doing, what you're developing now in whatever stage it is, it's really creating impact now. Of course, we want to also understand the potential impact, because that's what makes the solution big. But at the same time, we need to see where you are now, and we need to see that you already are making some impact now. And you need to show us the traction, as I already mentioned. Like, is there are there customers? Who are they? Are they LOIs? Is there press conference? Are there user feedback? But again, like, tell us everything in a compelling story. Why did you start that? What's your mission? Like, what makes us care, and in a way that is very authentic. So we really want to understand, like, as juries, what we really wanted to understand is you. Who are these people behind those applications? What makes them unique? What makes them different? Their solution, but also themselves. And I think actually Deborah also mentioned it. It's at the last part of the section, the last criteria is about inspiration. And inspiration is for us to understand, again, like, your who it is that is applying, but also, like, what is the impact that you've done in other role model. How are you a role model for other women, for example? It's a gender, like, it's a be gender aware in your impact. So basically, it's how basically your solution has also helped others grow, and has helped others, because this is one of the important highlights of this kind of awards, is to create more, to create role models, so other people can look up and be able to feel like they can do this, and they can actually apply themselves as well, and they can actually be innovators and break grounds. So we, from the inspiration point of view, we wanted to understand, like, the uniqueness of you, and also what impact have you done in other people's lives, and that you have been the driver behind this. It's all about you leading in a way or two. And last, but certainly not least, there's a 90-second video that we will see as jury members. And I think if the written content is helpful for us to understand the breakthrough, to understand the innovation, to understand the impact of the technology in you. These 90 seconds, we can really, like, see, like, it's the chance to really put this together and drive it home in a way, to see your passion, to see your confidence, to really bring your innovation to life. And I think, like, that's pretty much like how we also could understand the person behind everything that was spoken so far. But yeah, be bold. I'm definitely, like, I encourage anyone to apply, and I hope that as many women leaders apply, and and have more, and have more voices out there, and get recognized. Thank you very much for inviting me, and looking forward to see who the winners of the next edition would be.
Thank you so much, Elena, for giving us your tips and tricks, and also agree a lot, especially as well about the part of the video. Sometimes people do not give it the enough importance, but it's actually quite important for the evaluation procedure. We will have actually one question I have already seen for Deborah on how she prepared actually the video. And actually, with this, I would like to start actually the Q&A. We still have some time. This is actually the goal of the session, that you can ask your questions. So now that I already asked you, Deborah, can you start by sharing how did you do your video? Or what was, like, what did you try to what was your strategy?
Mhm. So the video is very, very short. So sometimes it's difficult to, in 90 seconds, to provide the message. But in this kind of applications, what I try to do is to show myself without like a very a white wall, very focused on what is the message that I want to pass through. But it's not. It was not like these. Prepared video with different camera sites, so it was only me demonstrating what I was doing, and I think I focus more on the explorational part. So what I was doing to inspiring other girls and women around me, and that it was the main goal. So I try to, when I do this kind of videos, to be genuine and original. So to demonstrate who I am and what I'm doing, because it's the only 90 seconds, as Elena was saying, that the jury can see yourself and how you speak, and if you are passionate about what you are talking about. So I prepare the text and the main message that I want to pass by, and I just speak it. So I remember that I had done 3 or 4 times the video, and at last I was able of pass all the ideas that I want to give. And I do remember that I think it was 95 seconds, something like that. And I submitted anyway. And then the last 5 seconds were cut from the evaluation. So the jury only received the 90 seconds. The last 5 seconds were removed. And just for people that is in here, it's 90 seconds. Don't don't provide the important message on the final part.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Now we also have another question. Actually, maybe you can take it, Elodie. Are women located in to be associated Switzerland eligible?
Yes, hi. So it's a very good question, because Switzerland has signed not the final agreement yet to be associated to Horizon Europe. So for now, women located in Switzerland are eligible, but can receive the prize only if the final agreement to join Horizon Europe is signed before the end of the year. No, before the awards, actually.
Perfect. Thank you, Elodie. Now can we have the slides? Yes, everyone who registered will receive the slides as well as the recording. Also, are requirements towards amounts of share for founder or co-founder? No, there are not. Actually, as a rule of thumb, we cannot ask you for anything that is not in the rules of the contest. So the criteria are the ones in the document. There's no, if it doesn't speak about amount of shares or anything like that, it's not going to be evaluated, right, Elodie?
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue. Are receivers of the Women Tech EU eligible to apply? Are participants in the EIC Women Leadership Program eligible to apply? So for the Women Tech EU, I can already say yes. The Women Tech EU is not a prize, it's a grant. And anyone who has received a grant before can apply. Actually, the only thing that you need to consider is the double funding prohibition for prizes. So if you have received a prize for the exact same activity or very, very similar, so you also won a personal recognition prize with the same company, exact same product, in the same stage of development, the criteria were very similar, then this could be considered that it enters into the double funding prohibition. But if you won another prize, maybe your company was pre-seed, now it's a scale up, now the project, so your product is in a different stage, the prize that you won was not a personal prize, was just a company prize, then this would be still fine. And Elodie, just to confirm with you, so the AC Women Leadership Program is not a prize, it's just okay. Okay, perfect.
So it's also, just to state it, it's also possible to apply.
Are UK residents considered eligible? Do you want to answer this one, Elodie?
Yes, they are.
Yes, because it's a Horizon Europe country, so both the people who are living in the UK and their companies would be eligible to under this competition. Then we are 2 female co-founders that founded a company. Can we submit together or 2 separate submissions? 2 separate submissions, right, Elodie?
Yes, now it's not possible anymore to have co-applications. So as it is really a personal recognition prize, we wanted to have some clear distinction between company and the funders behind it. So yes, it would have to be 2 separate submissions.
Okay, thank you. And can you repeat the info on the day of the year of birth? So it's 1990, before 1st of January of 1990, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, indeed. And this is only for the EIC rising category. So for the two other categories, there is no age requirement.
Okay, so up next, if also nominated for the EIT Awards, can someone apply to this prize? In principle, yes, unless it's exactly the same. Maybe it depends on the category. But Sasha, you can send me an email and I can respond to you on this particular one. I want to apply for another woman. How does this work? So if I'm not mistaken, when you create an application in the submission platform, it is possible to put another person in the application to be your core representative or something like this. So this person will, of course, not receive the prize or anything, but it's a contact person that can take care of your application. It has happened before, but it's important that the person who is going to apply for the competition creates the application and that puts you as the contact person, and then you can manage her application from there. I have a big number. Sorry, Elodie, yes?
Yes, and no, I just wanted to state the obvious, but the video obviously has to be done by the main applicant, not the contact person.
It's a good one to keep in mind. And up next, Elodie, if you want also to take this one, I have a big number for my own consultant company that is independent from the project I supported. Would I still need to get one for my name?
Yes, absolutely. You need a big number for your name and not one from whatever company. So it really needs to be a big number for a natural person.
Thank you, Elodie. Up next, so this one is on the EIT. Each EIT can nominate only one person and only for one of the categories? No, in this case, so the EIT Women Leadership category under the European Prize for Women Innovators is open to anybody from the EIT community. So if you have been supported by the EIT, anyone can apply. There is no maximum of people and you don't have to be nominated by a KIC. You can just apply on your own. Up next, if I am a citizen of another country, not the country of birth, which one to put during the registration? Yeah, so when you're registering as a participant. Now for the pick, the country of birth, right? I think there is also another tab where you can put where you are living now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I may, so the screenshot that Ciro showed you is the first page of the registration, and the information asked is the country of birth. But for the eligibility rules, it is not the country of birth that counts, but the resident country, and this information is asked later on in the registration process.
Okay, that's right. And now we have, so what about my email? So the email, my email or the email of my company, what is better to use? It doesn't matter. What is important is that email that you check regularly. This is very important. If it's the one of the company and you prefer that one, that's perfectly fine. Now up next, so you said if the prices are open to member states, associated countries, but the first section you have suggested the country of birth. What do you do if you were born in a non-associated country? Yes, again, this is what Elodie was mentioning. So when you register as a participant, you will always get the possibility of putting where you are living right now. And what matters is also not your citizenship, is where you are legally residing. So you could be from any country. What matters is that you are living in a member state or an associated country. What recommendation would you give to those who are considering applying for a second time? Maybe Elena, this one, it could be for you.
I mean, it depends on the application the first time, but we all write feedback to the applicant. So I guess the important thing is when you apply the first time, then you take into consideration what was the feedback that was provided to you, so that you can incorporate it in the second time, and also make sure that you include the updates that you have managed to do in this last year. Because I mean, this is the thing also with the startups. And with companies that they are relatively new, that a lot of things can happen and change in 1 year, and that can really be we can be a game changer for you if you manage to like really can show us a lot more impact. Because as I said also in my key points, when we're looking at the three criteria, the breakthrough, the impact, and the inspiration, what we wanted to evaluate the most is the impact that was done at the time of the application, not the future impact that could potentially be done. So in a year, there's so much more that can happen in your company, and incorporate any sort of feedback that has been received from the first application round, and trying to see if perhaps like you did not communicate your story as clear and effectively, or anything that you've done also from an inspirational point of view within that year, that can be incorporated and show us the progress and development of your company and yourself.
Thank you so much, Elena. Up next for Elodie, does the company the woman founded have to meet special criteria like defined percentage of employed women?
So Ciro already answered this question. So all the criteria that you have to fulfill are in the rules of contest, and what is not in the rules of contest is not asked. And for example, the defined percentage of employed women is clearly not an eligibility criteria, but it can be a KPI used in the impact section, or so it can be a data that is used, but it's clearly not an eligibility criteria.
And this one also, maybe Elodie, you can also say, so it seems that I fall in two categories. Interesting situation. So can you say the anticipated number of applications per category, so that basically to take it into account for the chances of success?
Yeah. So I guess you fall within one of the EIC category and the EIT one, because you cannot be above and under 35 at the same time. So there is one criteria that is a little more restrictive, is being tied to the EIT community, and there is a bit less applications than in the other two categories. But then the chances of success depend on your application, obviously.
In case you want to check also, I can add that there is in the price website, in the website of ASMEA, actually, there is some statistics on number of applications of previous years. So don't want to encourage anybody to use this trick, but just apply to the one that you prefer. But of course, I understand that people want to look at it. So there you have the information on so you can make the decision yourself. So one more question here. You can only participate if you have a registered company. It doesn't work to be a data individually, does it? So basically, if you're a freelancer, you wouldn't be eligible. The legal entity, so your company needs to be registered in your country as such, so as a company or corporation. Individual workers is not admitted under the eligibility criteria. This one I can also take, for example. So how can the templates for part A and B be retrieved? Can it be retrieved by someone not applying, or does it need to start an application to retrieve the template? So yes, in principle, you need to start an application to retrieve the templates. These are in the submission platform, but you can only retrieve the part B, because the part A, you actually fill it in in the platform. So if you want to get it, you would only be able to download the part B. I'm just reading more, but they have been also answered before. Our company was founded in September 2023. I suppose an application this year is not possible, right, Elodie?
Indeed. And so the rest of the question is, will there be another round next year? It is very likely that we will have another round next year. So you can always find this information also on our website. And once the work program for next year is published, then the information will be official. But so far, the prize was run every year. It is most likely that it will continue like that, but there is no absolute guarantee.
Okay, thank you so much, Elodie. So let's see one that hasn't been answered. So can one of the women winners of the past EIT Manufacturing Risk Leaders competition apply with a similar technology? If not, can this winner apply on different technologies? So as I was mentioning, it depends on how similar this competition and your application was the last time you applied to this prize and you won. If you have if you have more doubts, you can send us an email and we will look into the case. How much minutes do we have left? 5 minutes. Okay, we have a lot of questions actually. That's good.
Yeah.
Again, yes, the UK citizens can apply or residents in the UK. Can a female founder from Turkey apply? Yes. When I'm a representative, how can I manage with security passwords, etc., for getting into the application? You mean? I think that you will have to get your own account to access the application, but I'm not exactly 100% sure. Elodie, do you know to this detail how it works when it's the contact person in the application?
Yes, you need to have an EU login account as well, and then you can access. I mean, the first entry of the application has to be done by the the main contact, but then if you are the contact person, you can also access the application with a new login account.
Thank you, Elodie. One question. So I'm seeing some questions, particularly on the EIT Awards. If you have a question on the EIT Awards, you can write it to our functional mailbox, because in this case, it's a different competition. Will there be any indication of my chances of winning a prize during the evaluation process? Not right, Elodie. It's until the results are revealed.
Yes.
Which year does the company need to be founded to be eligible? Is just to remind it, so it's before 1st of January of 2023. And we are going to end up actually very much on time. If there are no more questions right now, we would conclude with the info session. But if you still have questions, or maybe it comes up a question after the info session, you can write to us. Can you repeat again the email addresses that we can contact you? I'm going to send you the slides, and in the slides you will see the functional mailboxes, but you can also consult the email addresses of both AISMEA and for the EIT Awards in the prize website. But yes, you will be receiving all these materials afterwards. And for the participant identification code is the participant register website. You can also find a link in the slides that we are going to send you. Again, if there are any unanswered questions, please reach out to us. I will send you ASAP both the recording and the slides of the info session. And with all, I would like to thank you so much to Elena, Deborah, and Elodie, and of course to all of you for coming to this info session. And again, the last message is giving you, of course, encouragement and wish you very, very good luck in the application process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.